Hello, brick sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and today we're going to be doing some brick sculpting. Don't you love it when you get exactly what's advertised? Well, this one's going to be fun. I've been working on my city a bit. As I may have mentioned a few times, I have a small show coming up in a few months, and I really got to get plugging away at the city because I got a lot to do still. It's coming along, but there's a lot of work to do. And I've been working on this larger orange building in the city. I mentioned it in the last city update. If you haven't seen that video, I'll post it here as well as at the end of the video. And the look I'm going for is kind of an older, rundown, repurposed factory building. And so I wanted to play with bricks, and I wanted to show you the technique I use for building more worn bricks. As we all know, we can take masonry bricks and stack them nicely and make a nice pretty wall like this, but obviously it looks clean and fresh and new, and it doesn't have a lot of character to it, just that texture really, right? But now I want to show you how we can throw some different pieces in there and take a wall like this and turn it into a wall like this. It looks like it has some age and wear on it, and give it a little bit more personality per se, to fit into a more worn area of the city and have a little bit of character and charm for the small town I'm building. So I'm going to show you a technique I do for that, and then I'm going to show you the orange building I'm building, the dark orange building that I'm building, to show you kind of where I've gotten and talk about where it's going to go. Now, the first thing I like to do when I do this is I like to build the bricks. Obviously, this wall is made up of just regular dark orange masonry bricks, but we have to mix some things in to get that texture and that wear. And I don't like to dig from a bin of small pieces to build these on the spot. I like to prepare them ahead of time. And let me show you the elements I use for this. The first one is going to be 1x2 plates. Now I'm going to use two different colors here to show wear. I'm going to use some medium nougat mixed in with the dark orange. So pretty much every piece, as long as it's available and I have it, I'll have in both colors to mix them up. So we got 1x2 plate, dark orange, 1x2 plate in medium nougat, 1x1 plate in dark orange, 1x1 plate in medium nougat, 1x2 plate with rounded edges in dark orange, 1x1 by 2/3. I don't know if you call it a brick or a plate. I think it's under plate in most catalogs, but it's kind of a brick in medium nougat. I don't have these in this color, but I don't use a lot of these. I only have a few here. We have 1x1 round plates in dark orange, 1x1 round plates in medium nougat. These are these corner tiles. I don't use a ton of these, but they can make a nice effect, so I like to have those on hand. Also have them in medium nougat. And then I do have some of these as well. They give a little different texture. This is kind of the rounded side 1x1 tile. So with all these elements, we're going to mix them up to make some alternate bricks. I'll show you the process for doing that. And once I have enough bricks together, then I can start building my wall. Now, I generally will start with one of the 1x2s. I have 3 different 1x2s here, and I'm just going to start stacking. So I want to alternate the colors. I want the brick to be about 50% medium nougat, 50% dark orange. So let's say I take a 1x1 dark orange. Maybe I put a 1x1 round right here. Maybe I take one of these corner pieces in dark orange up here. And then maybe another 1x1 round. And the goal here is just randomness. I want to make just a whole bunch of different configurations and just start a big pile of them. So that's what I'm going to do. Here I'll start with a dark orange one. Maybe I can put one of these tall medium nougats on here. And then maybe something like this. There's another one. And again, they don't need to all be the same. In fact, it's better if they're not all the same. These work really nice for texture. They don't look great until you put them in the wall, but then those curves add just little nooks and crannies in the wall. So it turns out pretty nice when I'm done. There's another brick. And so usually I'll make 10 or 20 of these, just depending on what I need for the wall. We can also sandwich some of these rounds in the middle here. When you use these tile pieces, they give you a nice, like, deeper groove like that, but they do lack a connection point. So you want to use them sparingly. They do give some nice detail, but they do take away a bit of the structural properties of the wall. There we go. And these are going to look a little funny when they're not in the wall. But when you do put them in the wall, it makes sense. And just the more random configurations I can do, the better. I did put a full parts list of everything I have on the table here down in the description. So if you're curious what all this is and want to try this for yourself, of course, feel free to mix up the colors as you feel necessary. I have done this technique with regular gray and regular gray mixed with dark gray. If you want some kind of mossy stuff in there, you can do some olive green or maybe even some dark green. There's a million ways you can mix these colors to add a lot of detail to your builds. So have at it, have fun, make it your own. There's obviously no right or wrong way to mix this. I don't think I'm going to build all of these. I'll save you guys some of the watch time. But you'll get the idea here in a second when I show you kind of the pile I've made. As you can see here, my parts are starting to dwindle down a bit. Again, I don't have to make all of these, but I'm going to need them. You know, this is going to be a large building. It's going to take a lot of materials. And I will probably have to be, I should definitely have to be making more of these in the future. But this will be enough to get the point across for the video, hopefully. We'll make one more here, and then we'll call it done for now. All right, and this is all extra. So here we go. I got a nice variety of bricks here, and it just looks like a whole bunch of random stuff, and that's because it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these in with my masonry bricks, so we can kind of turn this one to look like that. You know, you can make the wall as worn or not worn as you want. You know, if you want it just a little bit of wear, maybe throw one of these bricks in every other layer. You know, you kind of do something like this. And just have a couple of little wear spots, you know, here and there, just sort of slightly damaged in certain areas, but nothing too extreme. Kind of like that. If you want a little bit more, the technique I'm doing on the orange building is kind of every third brick, which in this case would work out to like 1 to level. But you also don't want to space them all perfectly. You know, you want this stuff to be kind of randomized. So some levels might have 2, some might have none, but you can get, you know, a little bit more wear. That's about equal to that. So lots of cool things you can do with this. And you can see this is kind of coming together. So now that we've seen the technique, let me show you what it looks like when we actually put it on the building. So here's where we've gotten. I apologize, I'm out of brown windows, so I'm waiting on more brown windows here. But again, this is supposed to be kind of a brew pub in an old warehouse or old factory that's been converted. So we have lots of wear on these bricks. I have some down below here as well. This is the basement. So this below here is going to be beneath the level of the street. The street and sidewalks come right up to these windows here. That's not going to be seen. That's why these bricks are all backwards. But I can show you the inside. And, you know, I did the same thing on the bottom layer, but I used some dark gray as well as olive green mixed in with regular light gray. And then we've just got our wear pattern up in here, which is all these bricks here. On this first story, and this is going to be at least 1 more story tall, probably 2 more stories tall. It's going to be a large building. But you can see about every third brick has been changed out. And I even did some wear on like the the window sills here. I'm not sure if I love that. I might make a little bit less worn there and maybe throw it away on the stairs, but that could be something that they filled in and redid. Maybe do some dark gray patches could be cool. I threw some lanterns up here just for fun. Not sure if those are going to stay or not, or maybe I'll put more in between the windows here. But I think it's coming along nicely. This is supposed to be like an old door that they filled in with more modern brick. So that brick is cleaner and lighter in color. I think that looked pretty cool. And it's just going to kind of go to nothing. This is going to be the street level here. It's just going to be filled in. They left the ledges in there, filled the door. So I think it's coming along nicely. I like these brown windows, large windows here. Basically this side I think is going to be kind of the bar, and then this side's going to be kind of the brewery, and then the basement will be all storage for barrels and bottles and cans. So it's a work in progress. It's coming along pretty good. Just need to build a lot more of it. Well, these buildings are tedious, but I think the detail looks great. It looks a lot less clean than the bank mock, which is also in my city, and I think it's gonna fit nicely when I'm done. Well, I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I do more just like this in the future. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.